Are you looking for the best coolers? In this video we will look at some of the 6 best coolers on the market before we get started with our video. We have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. YETI Tundra 45. YETI has long since made a name for itself in the cooler world, and the Tundra 45, $325, is popular for good reason. This mid-sized cooler is the perfect companion for a family weekend getaway, is a reliable road trip companion, and is definitely built to last. With superior insulation qualities and a robust design, this cooler is our top pick, with the only downside being the hefty price tag. The Tundra 45 actually only has a 32.9 L capacity. This size will hold 28 cans and plenty of ice, and is designed to fit long neck bottles. It will not fit a 750 ml wine bottle standing upright, however. A dry goods rack keeps items you don't want to get soggy lifted above the ice, and this cooler's extra thick walls will retain ice for days. A rotomolded polyurethane construction, a freezer quality gasket, burly haul handles, tie-down slots, a drain plug, and a certification of bear resistance from the Interagency Grizzly Bear Committee all help to explain the $325 price tag. YETI is the brand that pioneered the rotational molding or rotomolding technique, which has become the gold standard in premium cooler construction today. This design process ensures perfectly uniform thickness, extra durability, and superior ice retention. The cooler walls are filled with polyurethane foam, which is superior to the lighter weight styrofoam used in more basic coolers, and 2 inches of insulation make YETI coolers the best at retaining cold air. At number 2. RTIC Ultralight Hard Cooler. 3 inches of foam insulation and an O-ring gasket for the lid keep your items cold despite the lighter weight. However, this cooler is injection molded instead of rotomolded, and therefore, its ice retention will be a bit less overall than that of heavier, rotomolded models. The ice retention of the ultralight RTIC cooler ended up actually being pretty comparable to its rotomolded counterpart. This, however, could be due to the fact that it was filled with more ice because of its larger size, and the more ice a cooler can hold, the longer it will retain that ice. But with 8 solid days of ice retention, the RTIC Ultralight Hard Cooler really measured up. Having a large cooler that is easy to carry around may also be very advantageous for some. This cooler additionally has many of the same features as its rotomolded counterpart, the RTIC 45, with secure rubber latches, 2 drain plugs, non-skid rubber feet, tie-down slots, molded-in side handles, as well as marine-grade nylon rope handles on either side. It also comes in a smaller 32 quart size, as well as 52 quart and 72 quart wheeled versions. At number 3. Ninja FrostVault Cooler. Ninja, yes, of blender fame, brings a novel feature to its cooler, at a nice price. The Ninja FrostVault, $200, has a bottom drawer that lets you store anything from produce to deviled eggs, so your chow doesn't get wet from ice in the main compartment while it stays cool. Though it doesn't insulate quite as well as its roto-molded competitors, its performance is respectable, especially considering it's $100 less than a YETI Tundra 45. The single latch design and the lack of an airtight seal impair the overall insulation performance, but don't write off the FrostVault just yet. The single latch is durable and keeps the lid closed just fine, and a little air leakage prevents a vacuum so that the lid won't get stuck. It's a compromise, but if you're using your cooler for a day trip or an overnight, the FrostVault will suffice. The unique sliding drawer on the bottom, known as the dry zone, is about 10 by 11 by 3 inches. It keeps food dry and ice-free. It also protects fragile food items like strawberries, pie, or the aforementioned deviled eggs from getting smashed during transit. A latch keeps the drawer from opening unexpectedly, and the drawer can be completely removed for easy cleaning. Don't forget to empty the drawer. We found out the hard way that it's easy to forget about the drawer after emptying the main compartment, and we're left with a pretty smelly mess a few days later. The FrostVault is not a heavy-duty grizzly-proof cooler, and we're willing to bet plenty of folks looking for a good cooler aren't going to be in bear country. Leave this one at home for multi-day rafting or fishing trips. For a few days on the road or at a drive-in campsite, the Ninja FrostVault will serve you well. At number 4. Xspec Pro 60 Quart Cooler. The Xspec Pro 60 Quart Cooler, $230, is nothing if not impressive and is the most feature-filled cooler we tested. A heavy-duty, rotomolded construction with a reasonable price, this 31-pound cooler gives some other more expensive models a run for their money. This 60-quart cooler actually has 60 quarts of usable space, unlike other brands which end up having less capacity than they claim due to their thick, insulated walls. It fared quite well in our ice retention test as well, holding usable ice for a total of 6 days while outside in a mix of shade and direct sunlight. The Xspec is dry ice compatible for even longer periods of cold retention. It also features a drain plug with a tether for safekeeping, heavy-duty grab handles, a molded ruler on the lid, a built-in compass, bottle opener, non-slip feet, and molded tie-down slots, making this a burly cooler for overlanders and other adventurers. And this cooler is the only one in our lineup to have an air release knob as well, so you'll never have to worry about your lid getting suction to the cooler body while you're just trying to grab a cold one. No one likes that. While the Xspec is a worthy competitor in the world of rotomolded coolers, it's worth mentioning that while its plastic latches are infinitely easier to open and close than the thick rubber ones you have to use 2 hands to pull down to secure, they don't keep the cooler quite as airtight. With the thick rubber latches found on the YETI Tundra 45, you can feel the air being suctioned out of them as you pull down the latches to essentially engage the rubber gasket on the inside of the lid. While many of these premium brands hold a certification from the International Grizzly Bear Committee, the Xspec does not. Although it does have stainless steel locking plates to keep the cooler secure, we don't know if it would withstand a curious grizzly. At number 5. Coleman 316 Series Chest Cooler. Sometimes a standard cooler just isn't big enough. Enter the Coleman 316 Series Chest Cooler, $110. 120 quarts of space at only 20.7 pounds, this oversized icebox is great for birthday parties, barbecues, sporting events, and the like. Built-in cup holders and a lid that can double as a seat and support up to 250 pounds make this cooler more versatile than it seems. While the injection-molded design and relatively thin walls make multi-day ice retention less viable than more expensive models, the Coleman 316 is a great choice for single-day events. While we think that any cooler of this size should come with a pair of wheels for easier transport, the Coleman 316 is, unfortunately, wheelless. Its plastic side handles are also not the most confidence-inspiring, and the size of the cooler, when fully loaded, necessitates another person to lend a helping hand. For only $6 more, you can get the slightly smaller, 100-quart Coleman 316 series insulated portable cooler with heavy-duty wheels, which solves the wheels issue though sacrifices 20 quarts of space. This cooler did quite well in the ice retention test, lasting the full 10 days with ice. This, however, is partially due to the sheer quantity of ice we filled the cooler with. The more ice, the longer a cooler will stay cold. But we were quite pleased with its performance regardless. If you're looking for an inexpensive, large cooler for the occasional event, it's hard to beat the Coleman 316. At number 6. YETI Tundra Hall Wheeled Cooler. You were probably all expecting this, yet another YETI in our cooler review. The YETI Tundra Wheeled Cooler, $450, has all the features you could want: a great design, formidable construction, high-quality materials, versatile volume, and more. It was no surprise, with the YETI coolers ranking as a staff favorite and holding out for 10 full days in our ice retention test, that the Wheeled Tundra finds its place here. But we can't claim it will keep contents cold for any amount of time, or at least the brand won't offer any claim to ice retention. All the other cooler brands we tested do. Overall, this cooler is a tried and tested favorite. If you spend much of your time outside, especially for long periods of time, it's a fantastic cooler to consider. But at $450, these coolers cost a pretty penny. As one of our editors put it, you get what you pay for, and with YETI you get all that with extra price. If you don't mind the price tag, the Tundra is one of the best rolling coolers money can buy.